Hi, and welcome to Good Guys Indy Hot Rod Happening. We're glad you're here. You're going to have a good time.
From historic Indianapolis Raceway Park, Main Event Entertainment presents Bad Rods.
Gary's like a kid. I mean, if you go out there right now, you'll probably see him cruising around in his 32, just having a good time with all the other people. It's like he brings a few friends to Indianapolis Raceway Park, and all of a sudden you just have this gigantic blossom of street rods appear all of a sudden, and it's really a unique experience.
We have a whole different look at how to do events and what makes an event fun. We think having poker runs, having a deal like an Indy cruise, having nostalgia drag races combined. We also like to include the custom guys. So our cutoff year goes up to 1959. Really, the Good Guys stands for good times. Relating back to those old days, it's getting in a car that you've done something to. Now, maybe you didn't build the whole thing, but maybe you had some parts and pieces done, or you did build the whole thing. It's something that you take pride in. It's something that you kind of helped create. And it's the magic of driving that car, enjoying that car, and talking to other people that are doing the same thing. It's a time warp. The street rod thing attracts all kinds of people, all walks of life. Doesn't make any difference if they're a lawyer or a doctor or simply a garage mechanic. They're all mesmerized, I guess you'd say, by cars and hot rods, street rods, custom cars. Their own individuality is what you can really express. If you like fat fendered Chevys, hey, you can build one. You can paint it pink, purple, black, or whatever. If you like fenderless cars, you can do that. If you like cars with blowers and a lot of noise, you can make one like that. Or you can build one with a 4-banger engine in it that runs so quiet you'll never hear it run, and it'll get 25 miles to the gallon.
Classic coupes, highboy roadsters, fat fendered Chevys, sleek Studebakers. They're here in every color and configuration.
It's ending up with that one individual vehicle that nobody else has. It's trying to outdo your buddy, no matter what level it is. Making a statement, being an individual. Having one car done your way that nobody else has thought of doing.
Well, with Good Guys, we think we've got a little deal that's a whole lot better than any other kind of event production company in the business. Because we're hot rod guys. We grew up doing this. We've done it all our lives. We style our events so that everybody can have fun. Today's hot rodders and street rodders are just great people.
Individuality is the key to street rodders. Anything that mind and metal can create is likely to be seen when these individualists get together. Once you've assembled an array of unique cars, you need an equally unique setting, one that allows the people and their rolling loves to come together so both can shine.
You got to have a magic place to produce the event. And this particular one here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, I mean, when you think about it, and if you think about hot rods or you think about race cars, you probably think about California, and then the next breath you're going to say Indianapolis. I mean, let's face it, it's magic because of the Indy 500. It's magic because of the U.S. Nationals. So with this hot rod happening, we've got a magic place.
What do you think these Good guys?
They're good guys, right? Great place to be.
Oh, man, I get to be a good guy this weekend.
And that's important, being a good guy. That's what it's all about. And that's kind of where our name Good Guys came from. It's like, I don't think anybody's ever met a guy that's into cars that's a bad guy. There is no such thing. If you're into cars, you're a good guy. I can just darn near guarantee it.
When you're behind the wheel of one of these classics, how can you not feel like one of the good guys?
Hey!
And good guys aren't just guys. They're girlfriends, wives, mothers, sons, and daughters. The love of a beautiful automobile knows no age.
You never see anything in the paper that says Joe Dokes just strangled his wife and killed 4 of his kids, and oh, by the way, he was into hot rods and street rods. It just does not happen. If a guy's into cars, chances are he's spending his nights out in the garage, and he's spending his weekends with his family enjoying his car, his hot rod or his race car, or his custom, or whatever it is he's into. That's where the good guys thing came from, and we really truly believe that all these people are good guys.
And who wouldn't? Driving a hot car with the top down, looking good and feeling better.
Street riding, it's ideas, it's time, it's fun, it's camaraderie, and it's getting to know people that you've never met before. So that's the thing that really makes street riding it for me.
I've been a racer all my life. I was a drag racer to start with. I raced top-fueled hydro boats, and I raced sprint cars. And somebody's always hassling somebody about something, or somebody's cheating, or you're doing this. It's not so with street rods. A guy can come to a street rod event and be driving a not expensive car, and maybe it's got a little rust on it or something like that. He's as proud of his car as I am of this one. And there's certainly no rust in this car, and it's not inexpensive. But a guy can come, you come to a street rod event, especially a good guys event where Gary and the folks are so nice, and you're welcome, and they're as happy to see you here in your inexpensive car as the guy that shows up in a high-tech, high-dollar operation.
What they're going to do is they're going to meet you at the waterfront, 9 o'clock in the morning, caravan you over there.
Gary Metters of the Good Guys has an attitude of putting on a meet that is fun, activities, and he's easygoing. He's not so set in one direction. He's easy to get along with. Gary and his employees just like doing what they're doing.
The mystique of street rodding is kind of it's a pretty hard thing to describe, but it's sort of like the movie American Graffiti. And that's kind of what we're doing, except instead of being in a dark movie house watching it, we're being part of it. We're out here doing it. I mean, this is American Graffiti. This is the way it was in the 50s and 60s, and we're just recreating that whole thing right here today.
You want me to talk about Gary? My comments on Gary is he's one great American that's taking care of the sport and the love of the American automobile, and it shows right here. That's what I think about Gary.
Getting one of these beauties ready for the road takes hundreds of hours and often thousands of dollars. But once you're ready to ride, that investment really begins to pay off. This is what street rodding is all about. Taking a car that once was one of a million and making it one of a kind. Color, chrome, and craziness. Put them all together and you'll find a street rod. You might recognize your father's Oldsmobile in the beginning, but let a street rodder get a hold of it and you'll end up with something you've never seen before. Make it wild. Make it better than new. Make it anything you want. But if you make it right for yourself, you've got it made. And if you love it, surely everybody else will love it too.
Street Riders are always wondering how they can get their cars in publications, various magazines, and magazines like ours, the Good Guys, Good Times Gazette. It's really simple. I mean, bring out the elbow grease, rub out the paint job, and chances are I'll have a chance to get by the car and or one of the other editors who are here on the site working, and we'll take a picture of the car. Things we look for are off-brands, not your average Ford or Chevy. Of course, we want to take a lot of those, but we like to shoot the Studeys, the Crosley's, all those off-brand kind of a car. And I'm a big Chrysler fan myself, so if I see some hemispherical heads hanging out of the side of one of these beautiful pieces, well, I'm always going to shoot one of those. But, we just try and cover it as best we can, and the only advice I would give to the people out there, if they want a possible feature or something like that done on their car when they come to one of these events, is to make sure that the car looks in its best possible condition that they can get it. Showroom quality, if you will.
If that's the case, then you'd better have a big showroom and an even bigger magazine, because the high-quality turnout at most Good Guy shows needs lots of room to strut its stuff. Still, no matter how good these cars look, some look better than others.
Well, they're classics. I mean, they don't make cars like that anymore, and I think a lot of these older people that come around, it brings back some memories for them, and then people like me who are a little younger get to see a piece of the past, so it's fun.
Secret in this track is you got to get up enough straightaway speed so that when you slam into number one corner, you're at full tilt. Just kidding, of course, because in a street ride you can't do that. Huge facility, think about it, and it's only used one day out of the year. True, it's the world's biggest sporting event, and I kind of believe that because I came this year for the first time. But, it's just a huge facility, and when you're down in here, you feel like a little tiny ant.
Today, 800 street riders take to the track, making one lap around the famous course and creating the memories of a lifetime for the drivers.
What the thrill is when you're like coming out of this number one chute or whatever it is called here, how breathtaking it is. And we're only going probably 50, 55. To do it at 250 or whatever those guys turn is unbelievable. And when you look up in the stands and just visualize how they're packed on race day, boy, that's just got to give you a thrill to see that. I can just imagine myself driving a car with all those people watching. It's got to be quite a thrill, because it's just a thrill cruising around in a street ride.
Gary, what's the magic of street riding?
I think the magic of street riding is, reliving our past, reliving the 50s and 60s and 70s, but the freedom. We can still fix up old cars. We can do the things we did in high school. We can go to sock hops. We can act like silly kids again, although a lot of us are in our 50s. It's just the freedom of being able to do what the heck we want to do when we want to do it, and to have fun with our cars, and that's really the whole deal. Going across the bricks, there it is, at 250 miles an hour, and down into the number one corner.
Oh, it's great. I love it. Why? Well, I don't know. I started into it with him, and it's just... It does everything. This is home away from home.
It sure is the World's Fair of Street Rods.
Coddington's got great cars over here. They didn't have those the last time I was here.
Meet Boyd Coddington, builder of the world-famous Cadzilla custom car and the man behind the Pro Picks.
And what we want to tell you about doing the Pros Pick, what we look for is real nice cars, and we don't care if they're home built or they're professional built, as long as you become a participant. We're looking for fine detail, good workmanship, use of color, all the things that make an outstanding hot rod. I'm Boyd Coddington, Hot Rods by Boyd, here to do the Pros Pick at the Good Guys INDY event. Street rodders spare no expense, as you can see from all the nice detail work in the interior. These interiors are actually better than the new cars that come from Detroit. Street rods are not just restored cars. They're a statement of the owner's personality, such as you have the molded-in tail lights, the rounded corners on the deck lid, the handmade bumpers. All the things make these different from the rest of the cars. Interiors play a big role in the part of judging. We look at the way they're designed, the colors, the way the dashes are laid out, if the steering column fits it, and the pedals, and we look at all the fine details in the interior. We think the interior is very important in judging the automobile too. Of course, the engine's a very important piece in the car too, so we look at motors like this. It's a big block Chevy with all the nice fuel injection on it, nice aluminum work and the nice hard lines. This is something else we look for, unique vehicles, especially convertibles. They don't have to be a convertible, but this one happens to be a very unique Studebaker, like a 48 Studebaker bullet nose, which is very unique. It's got a nice interior, nice dash. This is some of the things we look for, too, when we're judging the vehicle. We also look at the lines of the car. They're very crucial to the way the whole car sits and the stance that comes into it. We look at the hood line, the rear of the car line, down the front grille. All the lines that make the car look really sleek and sharp. These are the lead sleds. These are making a big comeback in the street rod events, and they're also here at the Good Guys event. These are cars of the 50s, which are coming back real strong, such as the 50 Mercs with the Frenched headlights, custom grills, the nose and peak look, and the louvers. All the hot rods have unique motors in them. This one here has a 671 blown small block with all the nice purple anodizing, the nice powder painting, up to the custom air cleaner, back to all the nice little clamps and stuff like that. Then they go back into the interiors where they all have custom built dashes, nicely done interiors, down to the nice bodywork, right down to the custom built wheels, which we do in our wheel shop. Street rods, not a conventional car. They're a kind of car you'd like to drive.
Driving one of these beauties is one thing, but driving with a beauty is something else. Fire it up, slip it in gear, and head on out. The world of motorsports is often brash, noisy, and dangerous, but the one person who brings warmth, grace, and beauty to this otherwise metallic world more than any other is the vivacious Linda Vaughn. Like the cars she loves, she's truly one of a kind.
You know, sitting here in this convertible brings back a lot of memories of the drive-ins we used to go to and a little bit of drag racing on the side, but isn't this a great era to grow up in?
It's good. There's plenty to do. It's not real big that you can't see stuff. It's great.
Street rodding is truly an all-American sport. Where else would a person take a perfectly good, low-priced car, reproduce and improve nearly every part, soup up the engine, refine the lines, customize it nearly beyond recognition, and still think of it as the car they used to cruise the boulevard with nearly 40 years ago? Ask a street rodder to name the quintessential hot rod, and you'll probably hear about the 32 Ford Coupe. This car has got the look that rodders love. It sits right, it's low, it's poised. Usually powered by a small block Chevy engine, the Deuce features elegant, swooping lines that capture the all-important feel of a hard-running hot rod. But maybe you're looking for something even more outrageous.
So, what about the show? Great. A lot of fun. What about the good guys? Good organization. Gary puts on a real good show. A lot of prizes for everybody to win.
Oh, this is cruising.
Lead Sled's a combination of a lot of body modifications. Lead Sled started back in the 50s, and it was a combination of lowering the cars, smoothing it all out. The reason they called them lead sleds was back then everything was done in lead. All the modifications, instead of fiber fillers like they got today, was all done in lead. Well, the epitome of lead sleds was the 49 through 51 Mercuries, but nowadays you can look around the grounds here and they really make some wild lead sleds out of about any car, really. You can use your imagination and do anything you want to do with them. A lot of guys with lead sleds have power tilt front ends, suicide doors where they reverse the doors and stuff. And, there's no stopping what you can do, just being creative.
Why don't you tell them why we drive a Studebaker?
Don't know.
You don't know? Probably most people here don't know. But we do. Well, Studebaker started in this country as a wagon builder, and they really gained popularity and notoriety by building wagons that traveled across the country, and then they slowly got into the automotive end of it.
Born during the days of Flash Gordon, these rocket ships on wheels today offer all the flash and dash of a Star Wars fighter.
Tremendously ahead of their time as far as styling and a lot of mechanical features. They were the first small car with a production overhead valve V8. On this particular model, they had hill holder features that would let you put your clutch in and hold the car steady on a hill till you let the clutch back out, and just a lot of interesting features they had. And as far as a race car, they offer some very aerodynamics. Some of the street rod shows, maybe they have some groups or clubs to get together, but as far as out at a nostalgia drag race like this, to see this kind of a gathering of a combination of street rods and Studebakers. 5 years ago, you'd almost been ashamed to say you had a Studebaker. Now they're really becoming popular. You'll see them in some of the TV commercials, and they're pretty classy cars. They really are. In their own unique way, they're pretty classy cars.
Sleek, slick, and stylish, the Studebakers of the late 40s and 50s stood out from their Detroit brethren.
They were very engineered, very much ahead of their time. And unfortunately, they were a victim of the economy. They were a little bit advanced for the time. But you can see these cars are unique. They don't look like a cookie cutter car.
Today, it's easy to see why they had sophisticated styling years ahead of their counterparts. But back then, to most people, they were ugly.
You see a great variety other than just the Fords anymore. You see a lot of Chrysler products that you didn't see, and some of the unique models. And I saw Hollywood Graham here, and obviously the Studebaker offers a great variety. You can see just from this gathering here, there's from the Lark to the Champion to the Bullet Nose to the 41 sedan over here. They love them. You'd be surprised just how many people constantly tell me, oh, I had one when I was in high school, or my uncle had one. And they really looked weird back then, but they look great now. But the reaction's been really good.
This is my first experience with it, and I really like it. It's different. I guess I like the idea of having more than just the 48 cutoff date. It's real nice to see the nice-looking later model cars here, too. Just open it up to everybody a little bit, find out what all's going on. You know.
I like the mix of the 50s cars and that type of stuff, the customs and all that, rather than just look at hot rods all day long. You know, I enjoy it, but I like the 50s and 60s cars, too. But everybody's got their own thing, you know. As far as these cars are concerned, this is my only hobby, really. Other guys get into motorcycles or speedboats or that type of thing, which is cool. You know, everybody's doing their own thing. But to us, this is what I can afford and what I enjoy, so.
Did you bring back memories seeing all these cars of your youth?
Oh, yeah. It's,
were you fooling around in the back of these 55 Chevys?
I was fooling around in the back of anything that moved.
The roots of street rods reach back to the Roaring 20s. And in the years before World War II, they began to make their mark in Southern California. After the war, thousands of returning vets brought their old cars out of storage and took to racing, sometimes on the street, sometimes on the strip. During the 50s, the classic fenderless roadsters that had defined street rodding gave way in popularity to more powerful and comfortable cars. And in the 60s, the popular muscle cars nearly killed off the street rod. But they soon staged a revival, fueled by the renewed interest of the auto magazines and the new car clubs whose roadster roundups brought together hundreds of hot rod enthusiasts. Since then, street rods have flourished. Someone wanting his own rod can either go do the job himself by buying reproduction parts and building it his own way, or he can turn to professional builders who can and do create anything the imagination can concoct.
The Good Guys is a fantastic organization. There isn't any place else around that you'll find that has a group like that can put together a show like this today. It's got the cars, it's got the vendors, and it's got the drag races. You can't beat a combination like that.
This here gives you a real broad spectrum of all of them.
All the customs, it's wonderful to see all the customs and things.
Is there a street rod underneath that shirt there?
You got
Maybe.
This is definitely a street rodder. She started when she was 5 days old, going to street rod shows in Louisville, Kentucky. So she's definitely into it. and the drag racing, she likes that too.
Among the strongest visual and mechanical features of many street rods is their link to the earliest days of drag racing. The heydays of the mid-60s gasser wars are still alive and well today on the drag strip when these high-tech racing machines take on the quarter mile. You've seen the beauty. Now meet the beast. love of the unique has not been lost by these racing rodders. T-buckets, roadsters, Willys, cars such as this wild and wacky Crosley. When these cars come to the line, the fans fill the stands, proving drag racing is one of the most popular parts of this Indy hot rod happening.
It's like American graffiti.
Especially the night cruises when everybody, headlights shining, paint reflecting, chrome shining, just out cruising around.
Welcome into Bill's Fabulous 50s, bringing back the memories of days gone by. Welcome all of you from the Good Guys Indy Hot Rod happening.
If you're looking for the spirit of the 50s, you can find it at Bill's Fabulous 50s, a rare but real car hop drive-in restaurant in Indianapolis. Bumper-to-bumper rods, enough burger baskets to stretch for a quarter mile, and rock and roll on the jukebox. If you think dancing in the neon light is long gone, think again. If you think car hops on roller skates are only a memory, guess again. If you like wheels, fast action, and the feel of years gone by, then here's the place for you. Bill's is a time machine for those who refuse to grow up.
Okay, folks, get ready for a special treat, because we're going to bring him out here in just a moment. The one and only Chris Schmidt, the only dancing car hop in the world, right here at the world-famous Bill's Fabulous 50s. So
We do this about once a month. We have cruise-ins here about once a month. And people bring these beautiful cars out and display them. Other people stop to look at them. And they know how the operation works. You know, they park wherever they can find a place to park. I have people that are skating around, taking orders. We have, we do drinks separately in the back if they need. We're not quite this dramatic every weekend, but we're very busy every weekend. So we don't have to beef up much, except maybe to do like the satellite drink station, or people who want Bill's memorabilia, shirts, jackets, those kind of things. We do those separately so that, it just doesn't tie up all my car hops. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. That's what we're about, fun. Great food, good service, fun. That's why we do it, fun.
For all these good guys and gals, the spirit of the 40s and 50s never looks or feels better than when it takes to the road as a bad ride.
What do you think of the show?
Great. We'll see you guys next year. Take care now.
For millions, street rodding is the true American pastime.